Hey, welcome back. Today we're talking about something that touches all of us at some point, whether we realize it or not. It's one of those big picture topics that can quietly affect everything from your paycheck to how much you spend at the grocery store. We're talking about recessions. And now here's something most people don't realize right away. A recession isn't just about the stock market dipping or seeing headlines about big companies cutting costs. It can directly influence your job, your bills, and even how secure you feel day to day. And with Donald Trump as president in 2025, a lot of people are wondering what direction the economy is headed in and how to prepare. So let's explore how recessions work, what they can mean for you, and how to make smart choices to stay steady through uncertain times. If you're someone who wants to feel more in control of your money and better prepared no matter what's happening in the world, go ahead and subscribe. We talk about practical steps that really make a difference. So, first things first, what exactly is a recession? Well, at its core, a recession is when the economy stops growing and actually starts to shrink. But it's not just a bad week or two. It usually lasts several months, sometimes longer, and shows up in a few key ways, like higher unemployment, lower spending, and slower production in businesses. When people stop spending, companies earn less. When businesses earn less, they may stop hiring or even start laying people off. That ripple effect can show up just about everywhere, from the gas station to your next paycheck. And during a recession, the total value of a country's goods and services, what's called GDP, starts to drop. That decline affects industries across the board. Some start losing value quickly. Others, especially the ones that sell essentials, may not be hit as hard. That's why you'll often hear the term consumer confidence. When people feel unsure, they hold on to their money. And when that happens on a large scale, it adds more pressure to an already fragile economy. So how does that play out for everyday families and individuals? Well, in a recession, businesses often make fewer sales. That slowdown usually leads to cost cutting. And unfortunately, layoffs are one of the most common ways companies try to save money. If you're in the job market, you may notice hiring freezes or tougher competition. For those already working, it could mean fewer hours or stalled raises. And with all that uncertainty, banks tend to become more cautious too. You might notice that credit becomes harder to get. Whether you're applying for a new credit card, refinancing a loan, or looking into a mortgage, lenders may raise the bar on what it takes to qualify. But here's something a lot of people miss. Recessions don't affect everyone the same way. Some industries actually stay pretty stable. Think basic food, repair services, healthcare, or certain freelance jobs. These types of work tend to hold up better because they offer something people still need, no matter the economy. So if you're considering shifting careers or picking up a side gig, it might help to think about these more resilient paths. So then, what can you actually do to prepare? Well, start by looking at your spending habits. This part is key. Recessions can be stressful, but having a clear understanding of your finances helps you stay grounded. One of the first steps is to ask yourself, what do I truly need versus what can wait? Do I need to buy that new car right now? Could I skip the vacation this year? What about all those small purchases that add up? Takeout meals, streaming subscriptions, or extra shopping runs. Trimming even a little here and there can free up a lot of cash over time. It's about being intentional. Learning how to live with a little less can actually help you feel more in control. Next, create a list of your financial priorities. In times of uncertainty, clarity is powerful. Start with the basics. How much cash do you have on hand right now? How much debt are you carrying? What are your fixed monthly expenses, like rent, utilities, food, and transportation? Are there any big costs coming up, like medical bills or school tuition? Knowing these numbers helps you plan more effectively, especially when there's a lot you can't control. After that, it's time to build your plan. This is where a monthly budget can make a big difference. You don't need a complicated spreadsheet, just something that tracks what comes in, what goes out, and what you're spending on most. Go through your bank statements, write down your recurring bills, and look for spending patterns. Where's your money going? What could you cut back on without making life too uncomfortable? Also, it helps to separate your spending into two groups. There's essential spending, like groceries, rent, or gas. And then there's discretionary spending, which includes things like eating out or entertainment. You don't have to cut all the fun, but knowing the difference gives you more control over your cash flow. And once you've done that, you'll probably start to see areas where you can reduce costs. Maybe it's eating at home a few more nights a week or canceling a subscription you forgot you had. Little things add up. And if you ever do experience a loss in income, you'll be thankful you took the time to plan ahead. Now let's talk about savings. One of the best ways to stay secure during tough times is to have an emergency fund. Ideally, you want to have at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses set aside. If you're able to save more, great, but don't let that number discourage you. Even a few $100s is better than nothing. The point is to start where you are. And this fund is there for emergencies, not everyday spending. And it's what gives you breathing room if a job loss or surprise expense comes your way. You want to be able to tap into that fund without having to rely on credit cards or loans. And when things stabilize again, make it a goal to keep rebuilding that cushion. Also, think about your debt. Reducing debt can be another way to give yourself more financial flexibility. Focus on the debt that costs you the most, usually credit cards or high-interest loans. You don't have to become completely debt-free overnight, but if you can lower your monthly obligations, it makes it easier to manage if your income drops. Prioritize what's essential. If money becomes tight, you may not be able to pay everything at once, so it's important to know which bills absolutely have to be paid first, like housing, utilities, and insurance. And if you do run into trouble, don't wait until it's too late. Contact lenders early to discuss your options. Also, if you're facing hardship, it's also worth checking whether you qualify for any public programs. Things like unemployment benefits, food assistance, or housing support exist to help people during tough times. And there's no shame in using the resources that are available to you. Now let's talk about work. Career stability can shift quickly during a recession, so it's smart to look ahead. Update your resume, even if you're not planning to leave your job. Think about any skills you've been meaning to build. Could you take an online course? Watch tutorials? Add to your certifications? The more you can do to make yourself valuable, either in your current role or another one, the more prepared you'll be if things change. Some people also consider picking up side income. Freelancing, gig work, or part-time jobs can be a good way to supplement your savings or build a cushion, even while keeping your main job. And here's something important. Recessions can take a toll emotionally, not just financially. It's easy to feel isolated or discouraged when money gets tight or plans fall through. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, talk to someone. That could be a friend, a family member, or even a professional. Staying connected can really help you manage stress and stay grounded during uncertain times. And now, that brings us to investments. A lot of people get nervous when the stock market starts dropping. It's understandable, but acting on that fear can hurt you more in the long run. If you're investing for the long term, especially for retirement, sticking with your plan is usually the best move. Recessions can cause short-term losses, but markets often recover. If you keep investing consistently, you may actually benefit from lower prices during a downturn. Though, that doesn't mean you should ignore your investments completely. But don't make major changes out of panic. Market cycles are natural, and over time, they tend to trend upward. Staying the course can be hard, but it's often the most effective approach. If you're unsure what to do, it's completely okay to talk to a financial advisor or credit counselor. You don't need to figure it all out on your own. Having someone walk through the numbers with you can bring clarity and peace of mind. So, where does all this leave us? The truth is, no one can predict exactly when the next recession will hit or how long it will last. But you don't need to have all the answers. What matters is being prepared. The more you understand your own finances, the better choices you can make, no matter what's happening around you. So start small if you need to. Make a budget. Track your spending. Set up automatic savings. Think through a plan if your job were suddenly gone. These steps aren't just helpful in a recession. They're smart habits to build at any time. Let me know in the comments. What are you doing right now to feel more financially steady? Are you cutting expenses, saving more, or working on your resume? I'd love to hear from you. And if this helped, consider subscribing. I've got more tips, stories, and practical guides coming to help you stay informed and feel in control of your money, no matter what comes next.